It's all for you. Yeah, yo. There whenever it matters, and even more when you feel like it doesn't. Protect you so you never feel like you wasn't. Know I'm right alongside you. Either that or I'm behind you, but always got you. End of discussion, nothing means more. First one to offer is shoulders for what you reach for. Thought I saw the eyes of the world until I seen yours. And know that I ain't see a better view yet. I'm with whatever, so don't ever you fret. Know that you covered, not a hurdle or a heartbreak. A change what a partake, cause none of them won't ever get comfortable in your walkway. My job is to aware you, fully loaded, prepare you for all of the above that I'm never letting get near you. But still in all, give you every advantage I found. Couldn't find a better fit for them, along with my crown. And since the baton was passed, I've been down. Cause failing's not an option, and dad is not a noun, not at all.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Ishmael from Dad Is Not a Noun. What's going on? I hope everyone's doing well. You know, if you love what I bring to the table, like, subscribe, and share the platform, because I do it because I love what I do. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I love what I do is that I get to talk to interested people all the time. And I have this brother on right now. He's an extraordinary artist. Oh. I found out about him on Twitter. I'm like, yo, what is this dope artwork? And so I hit him up on IG. I said, yo, would you be willing to go on the podcast? He's like, I'm down. So I want to introduce this brother right here. His name is Gene Gray. What's up, brother? How you doing, man?
What's happening with you, King? What's good?
I'm good, man. Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you. And that's the one thing I say, man. Time is our greatest commodity. And you spending your commodity, your time with me for a few minutes, I appreciate you, man. How you doing, bro?
That's my pleasure, King. Shit, blessed, black, and highly favored, my brother. I can't even hold you. Life is good.
All right, dope, man. This image I have right now is a part of this new collection that's dropping tomorrow called Gold Standard. Mm-hmm. You got the legendary Lionel,
Little Richard.
Thank you, brother. Black Twitter's gonna come after me.
They got
iconic Little Richard here, rocking the grill. Mm-hmm. Tell me about this new line that you're dropping when you have different iconic Black historical figures rocking the grill. Talk about that.
Yeah, no doubt. So essentially, like I said, for anyone who knows me knows that Miami played a very, very, very big pivotal part in my upbringing. Because I was originally born in Chicago, but I moved to Miami when I was like 14, 15 years old, and was kind of been there for the most part ever since. Moved around a lot, but that was my first place of stability was in Miami, and that was just essentially, like I said, just part of our culture, part of what we considered to be how the people who we looked up to or who had some type of a status typically wore those type of things. And there's always been the kind of a negative connotation behind that, behind what grills or gold teeth mean, that they say it's thuggish, it's ghetto, and all right, that's what you say. But for where I come from, from what I understand, how we know, it's not that. To me, it represents it represents status. It represents abundance. It represents just wealth. You could say gaudy maybe, but it's flamboyant. It's out there, and it's just a very pivotal part of this Miami culture. And you just can't think of Miami or South Florida and Florida in general and not bring that up. That's just the part, like I said, just how we kind of give it up. So I just wanted to change the narrative behind that, and versus people just kind of shitting on it. No, this is Black culture. This is our culture. This is what the fuck we do. And I need y'all to respect that. So, and if y'all don't respect it, then my people will. And that's all that matters to me anyway. So that's why I just kind of felt it was important for me to use the gold teeth as almost as if it was a catalyst for okay, you've done your due diligence, whatever what your craft is. It's almost as if you're being bestowed upon them. So that's how I was paying homage to my personal favorite legends.
And that's also, and can you kind of tell me about the decision of picking certain historical Black figures in this
mm-hmm. So this there's 10. For some reason I feel like 10 is a very powerful, just round, just official number, because you do 9 or 11, but he's what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? But if he's gonna listen with 10, you feel me? So But I picked Little Richard because I was always a fan of his interviews. I love the way how he was legit just unapologetically like himself at all times. You want to talk about, like I said, like bravado and just owning who the fuck you are. To me, that's just iconic within itself. And then not to mention, like, you know, he birthed a lot of what, to me, a forefather of rock and roll we know today is anyway. Without him, you're not having any of the legend that we have today. So just his role in music, how he owned and embraced himself. He was very just like almost like fluid with his sexuality. Like you couldn't tell if he was gay. He was just like just him. And he didn't care what niggas thought. He didn't care what the publicity know. Like he was who he was. So I always respected that. You know what I'm saying? From everything from like the mascara down to the way he played his music. It's just I respect and honor it. Prince, obviously because to me he pretty much brought the forefront of how record labels are like could be considered the quote unquote devil. To me, he kind of like I said catapulted that whole hey listen. Don't be a slave to these labels. You don't have to sign to nobody. Because to me, in Jean Grey's mind, he was the first one to push that whole independent movement amongst music and pretty much changed the industry stand of how that looks like and who kind of like facilitated the whole movement away from being to a label to a major to at least try to be independent. And I just think he's just such a fucking G to me. Like he's such a gangster to me, bro. Like
he was just ahead of his time.
He was 5'2", nothing but could take anyone's wife if he chose to. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and not saying he should do that though, but still, just that amount of confidence is what I was really, like I said, that you know, a fan of, and not to mention he just made dope ass music.
And then, well, fast. Why did you choose Whitney Houston? What made Whitney Houston significant into this collection? Because I think it's important to eliminate that stereotype about girls and women.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, if you go to history, you know, you see a lot of women like back in those days. If you go back to the Egyptian days or BC, a lot of females had a version of grills. So can you kind of talk about like why you chose Whitney, like why Whitney Houston?
Well, like I told you, for like whatever reason I chose, it was a good one because she's definitely the most I get the most inquiries about out of everybody else. But with Whitney, it's just real. Personally, I felt when it comes to just vocals and when it comes to, like I said, just singing capability, I feel as though she's unmatched. Personally, that's just a personal opinion of mine. But it's also outside of music. Her impact on Black culture in general, you know what I'm saying? Her with the whole Bobby Brown thing, whatever you want to call it, it is what it is. It's a part of her legend and part of her history, and just her contribution, just to Black culture in general. You know what I mean? And just that photo that I came up. First off, what people don't know is that wasn't even like that wasn't even the original photo of her. Actually, it wasn't. That almost didn't come to pass.
Really?
I had another image of her that I was going to use, but I was I showed my dog Carnell, you know, back home in Miami. He like, this is dope, but what if you use this one instead? And he sent that to me. And when I saw it, she just looked so just pure. And like when you talk about like prime, someone's like prime,
right?
Without even the way she had her hand up on it, she looked so elegant and just almost like just perfect. I'm like, this is the one. But I just chose Whitney because again, when it just comes to Black culture, when it comes just to like, you know, just specific moments in time, like everything from like the Academy or like the award ceremonies and her wilding with Barbie and just Barbie with Bobby and just her contributions to music. I can't do that and mention that without having her included in it. So she had to make that cut.
Oh man, who's like the one that kind of stuck out for you the most out of the 10? Like which one you like that kind of resonates you with the most?
I think the Whitney one was the most. I think I got emotional, but I started feeling a way because again I listened to everyone's music as I was making it, and I was just listening to Whitney when I made that piece, and for some odd reason I thought about the night she died. She died because oh my God, she died the night before the Grammys, and so wow, Yeah, so she not the night before, and today is the actual Grammys today. That's crazy. And I just put that together in my head just now. And I just remember just like how emotional I was when she did pass. I just kind of like started getting my feelings a little bit when I was making that piece, and she just looked so beautiful just in that particular photo, and just those gold teeth to me added to that.
Yeah, because it just adds to that mystique of Whitney Houston. Because that's the one thing is that we really don't know too much about behind the scenes. We just saw like, her on our TV screen.
Mhm.
She had a lineage of family when it comes to music. When it comes to music.
Mhm.
But later after she died, you hear more stories about her.
That's
But
usually how it is. After people pass, you don't find out these things until later on. So
yeah, it is.
yeah,
And she had like more of a mystique to her, which kind of I think resonate with everybody, especially when she sang the national anthem at the Super Bowl. That just add another a level to her story.
yeah, 100%. And I was, like I said, just trying, like I said, just pay homage to that, in Miami fashion and in my own artistic fashion, because I was really particular about people's lighting and the shading and the contrast and like how you had small beams of light coming in from certain angles. I was just trying to be really as meticulous as I could about it, but also kind of keep it as natural as possible. So it came out beautiful. I can't wait for the people to get their hands on it, for those 31 lucky individuals. So we'll see what happens.
That's dope, man. And so it's just gonna be like a limited edition?
Yeah, it's gonna be limited. So I made 31 of each. I
Mm,
made one of each, and I wanted to make sure it was special. So what I did was I just I put a little bit of bread up, and I printed them out on like a polyester with like a mattish kind of a finish
right.
on 24 by 36s, which is actually like that exact size back there, but just vertically. Um, and because I wanted to, and I'm gonna I'm gonna sign them, I'm gonna number them, because I don't want to, like I said, just have it out in this abundance like that. Because to me, like, those are special pieces. And again, like I gave out a couple, like I said, of just, like, digital copies, just to show love to people who just who have really pressed up and kind of wanted them. But like for something like this, because again, I don't want these to be in like a constant rotation. Like if people want, because again, as you may know, people been buying my shit all week, coffee mugs, pillows, shirts, and hoodies and shit. Like, all right, cool, like I get it, but the authentic pieces, I only want those to be like really, really limited. And I chose 31 because I'm 31, and
Mm.
it took me legit 31 years to get to this particular spot. So I felt it was only right, like I said, to honor my rotations around the sun to make it happen.
And that's the dope thing about it is that you add this intimate value to it, and the power of having your signature on it
Mhm.
makes it more of a not sincere. That's not the word I'm looking for, but make it more of an intimate
100%.
portrait with your signature.
100%. Because when you get that GG initials, and cause all my pieces have that grayscale piece, and I just kind of want to let know that it's literally, like I said, from me, like, to you, and I want it to be in a specific type of material, because I want it to last the test of time. I want it to be, like I said, to last far after I'm gone. And like if someone likes it that much enough, and they can pass it down to their kids or just keep it into their house, wherever. Just I want it to be immortalized for the most part, and not even for selfish reasons. It's just that I just wanted to at least leave a legacy of like, hey, listen, this is a cat who just found something he was good at, stayed with it, and he made an impact on somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? And if I could, like I said, go out with that type of a legacy, I did what I was supposed to do.
Facts, man. And then also, can you kind of talk about that? You talk about your signature. What's the significance of the skull? What's the
Uh,
significance behind
of,
it?
of the grayscale.
Yeah, what's grayscale?
So
My bad.
yeah, no, you good. It's a transition.
Mm,
Like, because to me it's almost like a duality thing. Because no matter how you put it, there's literally like different sections of it. You can't have too many bright days. You can't have too many dark days. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to go through those shades of gray. And that's, again, it kind of like that concept helped me come up with my name to begin with, because most people think my name came from Jean Grey from X-Men, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. I made that name up because I feel currently, and I always will feel, as everyone has a creative side to them. Literally, if you have a pulse, you are a creator, whether you want to admit it or not. It's just what particular is your medium you have to discover. So everyone has a creative gene in them. And I went with gray because I feel as though like the world is obviously, very black and white, like that grayscale. But true creatives always find the beauty in those gray areas. So gene.
That's so true, man, and that's so deep, man. But I have this image up. I don't know if you can see. That
Mhm.
caught my eye
Mhm.
was this image of Malcolm X and the Black Panther character. Can kind of talk about that because this looks like a real it photo. Like they actually took a photo with each other.
All right.
But can
So
you talk about that?
yeah, so this piece to me was I'm a huge Malcolm fan. Obviously, I have him tatted on me and everything. But I always felt as though that Malcolm had Malcolm to me he was a pivotal person in my life because he represented change in my opinion. He represented, like I said, he started off the Detroit Red. This nigga was pimping white women and just wilding out as a youngster, but
Yep.
ended up coming into this complete icon that we know and love today. But I put him with Black Panther because, or with T'Challa, because I've always felt as though in my mind that I view Black Panther as somebody who embodies, you know, small bits and pieces of Malcolm in certain areas, but also small elements of, MLK with wanting peace. You know what I'm saying? But I always felt as though like T'Challa transcends time and would always carry out the will of Malcolm X. So in this particular image, I want to give it the type of a vibe that he was summoned by Malcolm to carry out specific things for, like specific orders, a specific task or a specific mission. And I always felt like Black Panther would be the one to like carry that out. And also, like I said, the Black Panther Party, kind of a double entendre-ish thing, I guess, too.
Yeah.
But it's essentially just T'Challa carrying out the will of Malcolm, and the people in the background, uh, which is again to me stood out. And even as I'm looking at it now, I always seem to pull something different from my own piece of art. If you look at the black man behind them, behind Malcolm,
Yes.
it's almost like a wow, like this is like really happening in real life. And then you have like the white man behind the Black Panther, like these niggas are again. Like, we just can't. Man, so you have one brother who's looking inspired, and another white man who's looking like, damn, like another black man's trying to become something greater. We can't keep him down though because he's witnessing these two iconic, mythical, just idealistic black individuals in front of him in real time, and just he's affected by that. So I just thought that was a real powerful image.
No, and it's a dope piece, man, because I think the one thing that both um, are so similar is the level of empathy for people that for anyone that they come across.
Mm-hmm.
The willing to listen and put themselves in that person's shoes. Not a lot of people have that gift, and they have that gift.
They do. They do 100%. And just in general, just even if you want to break it down on a more just basic level, they're just two individuals that play a huge role into black culture in general that we just can't deal without.
Yeah, man. And I'm on your website right now, and I'm looking at like all this dope art. But can you kind of talk about your early days, like when you started in the beginning? Can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, man. It's just so in the early stages, like I said, I started off doing album covers or album artwork. I used to follow this. Well, I still do. I follow this specific artist named Patso, and he would just do this thing where he would just take current albums and make them look like vintage, like jazz covers. And at the time of 2017, that was like the dopest thing in the world to me. So I would just, like I said, start off doing that. But then once I've kind of mastered the aesthetics of album art, I wanted to go into something a little bit more deeper and just make something with actual like legit meaning. So then I started doing, like I said, just what I call personal pieces, which is just pieces that I just wanted to stand the test of time and like send a message or bring awareness to. So that was how that transition happened.
But I know, like, I know we were talking before, like in the early days when you were working, you was like, "Oh, my work's trash."
Oh, bullshit.
How did you build that confidence and kept on working? Because usually some people they would like, you know what, I give up. I'm gonna do something
Yeah,
else.
I wanted to give up my first month because again, I couldn't understand. Cause I'm a Photoshop guy, so I couldn't understand what the buttons and the meetings and the blends and all this other extra shit. I just didn't understand. It was overwhelming because Photoshop is a big ass program. It's a little bit on the more complex side, and I didn't go to school for art. I don't know anything about margins. I don't know anything about color schemes. I don't know anything about any of that. I just figured out. I just put out what I think is that looks right. But I wanted to give up because I didn't know how to maneuver the system. I didn't know how to maneuver the software. But I told myself I would just put 2 hours every day after work into this and just live with the results. And my shit was treated as, bro. Like, it was, so, like I told you in pre-production, dog. If I would have put out what my first few pieces were, fam, not only would I lose all my followers, bro, but I would probably want to get people who want refunds from all my work. But that was horrible. But I just stayed with it, you know what I'm saying, and just and hopefully I can show what consistency looks like. So I just stayed with it, man.
So, what was that piece you made? That first piece you made when you're like, you know what, this is what I want to do. I'm going to stick with it.
Shit, wow, that's a good. I'm gonna go with that one. The first piece that I made that I knew that I was gonna be that I'm really putting to do this. It wasn't until 2019. It wasn't until 2 years later, in 2019, because I started in 2017. So it was when Nipsey passed away.
Wow.
And I made a Nipsey piece, and that was the first time I ever knew what viral even meant. I just made it was a simplistic piece though, but it was a purposeful piece. And it was at that moment, like, you know what? I think I might be onto something. I think, I might have found what my purpose is to do, because while I was noticing, not only did it come out aesthetically beautiful, but I was noticing how it made people like feel. And when I found out that when you can make something that can make someone feel a way, that can actually like gank on some type of an emotion, even if it's like negative, like, oh, this is horrible, you're still doing your job as a creative or as an artist specifically, because you're making someone think and you're making someone feel something. And when I put that Nipsey piece out and the type of response that I was getting behind it, that's how I knew, like, okay, like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So,
and this piece right here is getting me very emotional. And this is a piece entitled "A Sight for Sore Eyes." I'm going to read a little bit.
Please go ahead.
It is believed that the future can't be changed unless the past and the present are acknowledged. Regardless of its traumatized nature, the youth of today are witnessing the horrors of American history repeating itself. As hope of true equality appear to remain dormant, the cries, the change are silenced by the consistence of reign of systematic.
Yeah.
And it's the image of this child and the noose through the eyes. It just depicts a scary movie. Can you kind of talk about the concept of this piece? Because this right here is like you when you see it, your jaw drops. Because again, it goes to a lot of history, a lot of Black youth. They come up through childhood trauma, and it's a part of their adulthood, and they don't know how to cope with it.
Right.
And so, can you talk about the significance of that?
Absolutely, man. Because I do believe a lot of children are, like I said, products of their environment. A lot of people go through trauma at early ages. I personally think we've all been through trauma in our own respective way. But with this particular piece, I just kind of wanted to at least just kind of like shed light on what it must be like for a child, even like I said, in today's generation, to see injustice happen or to see these things happen, but his mouth is like he has no mouth or no voice, because even if you do decide to speak on these things, you're constantly overlooked. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to try to make a play off that phrase. You know what I'm saying? By even speaking on something of what you see, you're still fucked because again, it's either gonna go unchecked or they're gonna, like I said, try, like I said, to deter you from it, or they're gonna try like to minimize what you've experienced or what you've been through. And that must be a horrible thing for a child, just to be able to see these horrible things and can't even someone speak on it. You know what I mean? Because if you do speak on it, again, to feel silenced by speaking on what you deem as traumatic, by you clearly see injustice happening in real time, but if you speak on it, it's gonna be minimalized. So it's not like that. Gaslighting for the most part, you know what I'm saying? And I feel as though like that's something that to me is, well, the older I'm getting, actually, I'm starting to realize what gaslighting really is. That's the most, wow, this is in real time as I'm speaking it out. That's one of the most harshest things you can do to anybody, is just to make them feel as though what they're feeling isn't valid. That to me, that just kind of cuts deep. I'd rather you just beat my ass every single day than make me feel as though I'm crazy or I'm tripping about something, feeling the way about something. So.
No, you're absolutely right, because it goes back to, when COVID hit, right? And then you had what happened to George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize the traumatic effect that it has on kids, because every kid has his phone, so they saw that image and act like they didn't see. As parents, you think they didn't see it. They have phones, they have social media, so they saw it.
They did. They saw it happen in real time, and it's just, and like I said, it's just to my point from earlier. It's just like there's nothing worse than you speaking about something that you feel is wrong, and you have other people saying that it's not that bad, or you're making too big of a deal out of it. He just should have conformed. It wouldn't happen like that. Hey, you just comply, nigga. Someone just died in front of you. Like, what the fuck? Like, what you mean, my nigga? Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think that I want to, with this particular piece, like, just to explain like how traumatic that is within itself, is just to be like, just to feel like you have no voice whatsoever. So,
and then one more piece that caught my eye too is the one, I Have a Nightmare. Talk about this piece, man. This right here, like, dude, this is like, I'm speechless.
what happened was so this is obviously clearly right around the time when Floyd George Floyd was killed, not passed away, was killed. I was listening to 444 album, and that's kind of where that, the character comes from. And I just, again, I like to make things make sense in my head. That 444 album was, in my opinion, the most, like, for its time, was the most pivotal, just like kind of like, okay, like black empowerment, black businesses, black empowerment. You know what I'm saying? We're finally, like I said, starting to get our bearings a little bit, right? We're finally starting to kind of get into, even though it came out like 3 or 4 years ago, whatever, the reminiscences of it still was passing over to this day. There was a huge momentum, just like I said, black-owned businesses by black. You know what I'm saying? What's more important than spending money at the strip club? Like, niggas, we finally starting to like get it. And then this bullshit happens, right? The bullshit happens with George Floyd. And to me, with this one, I just wanted to symbolize is just like, whenever like we actually as a people finally start to get bearings and starting to finally understand that, hey, like, listen, like, this is what empowerment looks like. This is how we come together as a people to make our like American experience better. It's always something when we're almost at our peak or right towards it, some bullshit happens, and then that's when the whole George Floyd thing hit. And when I was thinking about the "I Have a Dream" speech, it's just like, King was speaking about, what he dreamed of, what he wanted to happen, and in a blink of an eye, a police officer, like I said, just shattered that, and it only took him however many minutes that man's knee was on that man's neck, and he's looking up at this pig is looking up at Trump for confirmation, because he's a boy in blue. That's why the body is blue. And if you notice, he has a real muscular type of a frame, right? Because he feels like a man. George Floyd was he Texas built. You know what I'm saying? He had that built to him.
Yeah.
Copper did it. He didn't look athletic. He didn't look like he was an athlete. He didn't look like he he could have did that by himself. He had to get George when he was like down and tied up. So he felt like this big man. He felt like he was like this big buff, brolic ass nigga who could just take down what you want. So, and he's a boy in blue and he's a pig, but he's looking up at Trump almost as if he's looking for some type of a confirmation, some type of a, I did it. And nothing was gone. You know what I mean? And even though Trump's not saying anything, because he's still looking like, like, I see what you did there. Yeah. And by him, and I just think by this, at the time, by this Trump not addressing it the way that I thought he should have, pretty much by his silence for the most part, I felt that spoke the most volumes. So I just tried my best to kind of like embody all that into one specific image.
And you did, man. Just to see the terror on Dr. King's face, that speaks volumes right there. Especially the title, Nightmare, And I think that's the one thing of Dr. King's legacy, I think, is that personally, I don't think he wouldn't want that statue of him in DC.
Really?
I felt like, you know what, take that money and use it towards the poor people movement campaign.
I got you. That's real. That's real. That's real. I can see why you say that.
I think he was like, he understood the climate of that time, especially a couple of months before he got assassinated. His stance against the Vietnam War. He solely saw the economic situation for all people, and we're working on that. And because of that, he lost a lot of his support. He was like a man on almost literally by himself before he got assassinated.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, man, this wow. Like, I'm not a speechless person, but this speaks volume, man. This is a beautiful piece. But this kind of tells the legacy of being Black in America.
I mean, that's just one element of it. But while we actually even on this subject, what I think is important that I need to say is, I look back at some. I'm keeping these pieces because again, these are moments in time. But I was having a conversation with one of my brothers, Carnell, and I just and my dog Limitless too. And I woke up one day, I said, fam, I think I'm almost kind of like not done making like this type of artwork. Cause I do appreciate for what it is. I do appreciate, like I said, the Sight for Soul Eyes. I do appreciate I Have a Nightmare. I do appreciate those particular pieces. But now at this point in my art career, I'm personally making my business to kind of like shy away from making these type of images. And the reason why that is because I don't want to be known, or I don't want to make it seem as though I'm perpetuating or just trying to get into my bag behind Black trauma. Because enough of that goes in every single day in Hollywood. 12 Years a Slave, the fucking Harriet Tubman movie, or Django. Like I'm really at a point where I think I'm more creative enough to stray away from that type of a thing now at this point. You know what I mean? It's one, I'm glad that I addressed it and I was able to tell the type of a story, but I do believe I have other things in me that's more appealing than just trying to find ways to not perpetuate, but just put more placement on Black trauma. Because yes, you and I both are Black. We know what it's like. We understand it. And it's just like, I don't want to keep on beating the dead horse. I keep on bringing it up again. So what I've been doing recently is I've been trying to find more ways just to show Black people in more pieces of power, and to be in more and more like prolific, and a more prolific site, more so than just trauma or overcoming some bullshit ass struggle. So that's the promise I made to myself. I'm just gonna be making art. If I'm gonna do Black art, it's gonna be Black empowerment art. No more Black trauma for me.
And that's the beauty of growing as an artist. You evolve. You know what I mean? And that's the one thing too. Is like you can constantly change the narrative, but the way you can change the narrative is creating different alternatives. You can create that part, the trauma, but you can also talk about or write about or draw about the positive, like this one right here, which is dope. The Native Son.
Mm-hmm.
This is dope.
Thank you, bro. So that was like a surprise like little drop I did. I did this thing called like the 27 Club or something like that, and I just pretty much took 3 iconic individuals who I personally found iconic, who all passed at 27 years old. And I don't know, it's just something about, like I said, this Native American culture. I was always kind of been like fascinated with, because through my little bits of research, I also found like the relationship between African Americans and Native Americans as well. So I just thought that was kind of a cool like duality part right there. But in all transparency, like Jimi Hendrix, obviously he's my personal favorite guitarist of all time, and I just personally just like Kurt. Out of 27 Club, I was the biggest fan of Amy Winehouse and Kurt Cobain's music. So there was nothing too deep behind that. I just thought those were just 3 great talented individuals we lost way too early.
Yeah, man. But all around, man, your work is magnificent. Like I said, I love the detail in your work. I love how you infuse vinyl covers with it's just dope. It is dope work, man. So what's the next step for you in your evolution as an artist?
Honestly speaking, is just to just keep on making things that I think are cool. And actually, that's literally like in my bio. It says I make things that I think are cool. I'm not trying, like I said, just to find the next big thing and make a hit off it. No, I might not make nothing for another 2 months for all I know. But the point is, though, for my career is just to keep on experimenting, keep on, like I said, making work that I like, and hopefully, like I said, but most importantly, inspiring other people along the way to tap into their creativity, because that's the whole reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. To be honest with you, like I'm just to let people know that, hey, listen, you don't have to go to school for this. You don't have to, like I said, have a fancy degree from some fancy ass art school. Does it help? Absolutely, but I think if you have a passion to want to create something, just find your medium, fam. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and you don't have to make digital art. You don't have to paint. You could be a podcast host. You could be a writer. You could be there's art in so many different forms and ways that it's almost countless. It is pretty much countless. And I just, like I said, I just want to perpetuate that and push that agenda forward with Black people. Like, listen, we're all creators in our own right, but I just challenge you to find what your medium is and foster it. So
That's dope, man. We're gonna end it with that, man. King, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. Where people can find you?
You can find me on my Twitter and my Instagram at _ Gene Grey, GeneGrey. And if you want to cop some artwork, you're more than welcome to stop by my site, GeneGreyArtwork.com.
Dope. And we out. Peace.
Peace, God.